Should be it. We got a bunch of people on. This is fantastic. Thank you for everybody for joining us. So as people are starting to check in, we just notifications have gone out. I'm here, Trevor Dale. I'm the founder of TKD Wealth Management, and I'm talking today with Gemma Leggett. She is a fantastic realtor. I thought she'd be a great one to talk about all the people that are thinking, who is buying and who is selling and how is this working? Like, we're in the middle of lockdowns again. And how are we having the hottest year in real estate ever? And it's pretty crazy. So we've got more people joining us, but Gemma, thanks so much for doing this with me. I'm excited.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be with you tonight.
Yeah, this is great. So we've got a bunch of people. I just want to remind everybody that's on so far, if you have questions, just type them up in the chat. I will, I'll in the comments field. I'll be checking them throughout. I'll be sure to ask Gemma on them. And so for people that are just joining again, we're going to be talking about selling your house during COVID. So this is something I think people will probably be pretty interested in, because it should be interesting to see how it's happening. How do you do showings? How do you prepare your house? What are people looking for? What are the offer situations like? All those little things that go into it. I think it's pretty cool. So Gemma has been, and just to remind everybody, put your comments in the comment section, and I will be sure to ask Gemma those if she doesn't answer them in the live chat as well. So Gemma was earlier on today. She was on a Remax webinar because she was asked to tell her story. She's one of these success cases of people who work so hard and have seen the success come from hard work. I have referred clients to her. I have seen clients who have dealt with Gemma. She has raving reviews from people, hardcore diehard fans and people who work with Gemma. So it's really exciting about all of this stuff. So I'm excited to ask her questions about selling in COVID. But is there anything that you want to share, Gemma, from today that you went over with talking about your background and anything you wanted to share? So you weren't born in Canada, right?
No, I was not born in Canada. I was born in France, in Paris, and I came in Canada 16 years ago. I started real estate 3.5 years ago, and last year was my best year with over $500,000 in commission, gross commission.
Wow.
So
3 years.
Yes, in 3 years. So it means that I sold over 40 houses.
Wow.
And last year, which was a pandemic, right? So it was one of the worst year, really, but best year for me in real estate.
That's almost selling one a week for people. Right?
Well, in the summer, I remember selling 5 in 5 days. So
there
yes,
we go, right?
It was pretty intense.
And everybody I talked to, they were all extremely happy, right? You say, how does a realtor deal with it? But I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and you do a fantastic job at it. So that's
Thank
always
you.
interesting to see, right? Were there any common questions you got earlier on in the webinar? And then we'll jump on, just so everybody that's joining, we'll jump on and ask Gemma about what's going on in the selling your house in this market.
So my webinar this morning was for my brokerage, and they were asking me how in such a short amount of time I was able to actually achieve such a high level last year. And not just last year, it was really growing through those 3 years. So it was sharing my story. And really the story is mindset. Keep your mindset, make sure that you're doing the right thing for the people that you work for, and get them the best results they can. So achieving this in the first 2 years, I was able last year to have a lot of referral from past clients, referral from professional like you as well, who seen me grow and who sees what I'm doing and what I offer to my clients, and therefore trusting me with their real estate portfolio and ask me to help them.
That's a perfect segue into today's topic. What are you seeing with people who are looking at selling? And I guess maybe we could tackle it two ways. What is there a common feeling that people are getting, and then with that the feeling, and then what's changed since COVID and what stayed the same since COVID?
So there are lots of questions here. So one at a time, there are a lot of people who are very, very scared of selling their home because they don't understand how us realtor can do it safely. They hear those stories in the media about some realtors that are not taking the right precautions. So please know that not everybody is the same. Not everybody has the same marketing strategies and do the same things. For example, last year I was able to sell a house from my sellers to a buyer who did not even see the house physically, but they still bought it in multiple offer as well. And they moved in and they're completely happy with it. So there are ways to sell your property safely. The thing that we're seeing today is that we're missing listings. There's not enough inventory on the market and there are tons of buyers out there. Why? Because people will always need to move for different reasons. There are divorce happening, there are relocation happening, changing jobs, changing situation. People need to move. Sellers are anxious about selling because of COVID, and I don't think they understand how us realtor, not every realtor, but us good realtor can help them achieve this goal and actually capitalize on the best time right now, because everything is selling in multiple offer right now. Everything. There's not one deal for my buyers right now that I am not in a multiple offer.
That's crazy to think about, right? Like multiple offers. I am hearing from other mortgage agents, from other realtors as well, that people are having a hard time buying. So
Yes.
that could be a tricky piece, right? We should touch back on that. Is there anything with the, with people are obviously, it sounds like there's some hesitation with people wanting to list and sell, but you can get through, you can get a transaction
Absolutely.
done, you can find a house that you're happy with. Um,
Absolutely.
what are some of the things that are changing the way people prepare their houses for COVID? Have you seen any changes, or is it pretty much prepare your house, list it, go through a very similar process, but just a modified process? Like anything
It's a
changed?
modified process for sure. We are working more on, because there is no more open houses happening, obviously. So there are different processes. The process of decluttering your house is the same as before, obviously. As a realtor, I offer home staging. So my stager will come and stage the house. The best way to do it is really to move out for 2 or 3 days if you can. So then we can allow the most amount of people in the home. However, we're doing it safely. Before, we were just letting everybody come in, whatever they wanted, without any questions, without any follow-up. Now, the things that we were doing is that only half an hour appointment. There is no overlapping, and everybody is pre-qualified before they enter the house. We are really, really on top of realtors, because we do understand that when you're showing 6 houses, it's very hard to be on time. However, now is really, really essential that every realtor that is going to come into the home is going to be on time. And if they are not, unfortunately, they won't be able to see the home. So the listing agent has to work double, even triple, to make sure and ensure to keep their sellers healthy and happy. And because everything is selling faster than the usual, we are able to bring so many buyers in such a short amount of time. We're able to achieve better results and again capitalize way more and faster if it's done right. So the way that I do it is, first of all, decluttering, staging. The photos are the photos are extremely important. This is the first thing that is going to bring buyers into the home. The video is extremely important as well, but I do also something that's called Matterport, which is a virtual showing for buyers to, from their house, be able to move themselves from one room to another and see if this is a good fit for them before they even consider coming into the home. So before they come into the house, I, as a listing agent, ask the buyer agent, okay, whomever you're bringing, I want to make sure that they saw the 3 of them. Pictures, video, Matterport. If they haven't, please do not book a showing. Call me back when they have. And some people are really willing to do this because they understand that they don't want to go see 10 houses because they don't want to be exposed to potential problems, right? And this is their realtor's job, really, to guide them for the best and tell them, listen, now we can no longer see 50 houses. We're going to narrow it down and make sure that the houses that we're going to go see are the ones that are really highly potential, where we are going to offer on.
Do you find that takes more conversation with the client to make sure that you're working with them more first, rather than saying, okay, we'll just go see as many houses as you want, you can get a feel for it? Like there has to be more conversation with the realtor and the buyers or sellers about what you're looking for in a house, how to get it done, and making sure they're filtering out as much more. Does that happen?
Absolutely. There is so many more pre-qualified questions, we call it. When I have buyers who say, oh, I just want to go see this house, I just explain to them, I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I need to understand the need and what you're really looking for. And if I see that what you're looking for and what this house has to offer match, then we will go and see it. If I don't see this, then I am not going to put their safety and my safety, because I have two young children. I cannot put my safety at risk either, nor the seller, nor everybody else who came through this house that day, right? It's very important to keep everybody safe. So the pre-qualified question is extremely important. Absolutely.
That makes sense. It seems like because we're still getting a lot of people through. When you get people through, they must know that other people are just as qualified, they're just as hungry, and I have a feeling that's contributing to the process. So a seller that's sitting here, they're in the middle of COVID, you're getting quite a bit of showings, I'm assuming, or at least interest. Or in your case, you even said that someone had bought it without even seeing it. They would have seen pictures and videos, maybe a virtual walkthrough.
Yes.
But you know, as a seller, so this is still happening. They're seeing it. You're not getting the open houses, but just people just sort of, you know, window gazing and, you know, window shopping, and that's not happening anymore. But
That's right.
and then it comes down to the offer night, or, you know, once it's officially on the market, you start to accept offers. What's that like? Knowing, like, has that changed, or is it the same process?
For the offer night?
For accepting offers, reviewing offers, is there anything has that part changed, or is it you're still just reviewing deals that come in? They're probably just more qualified and more serious, knowing that only the people that are really serious are coming through. So I'm assuming it's a little more it's a little faster, but is the process of reviewing the offers still the same, or has anything changed? Anything that you want to look out for?
So first of all, for me, before, when I had a buyer coming in, oh, I just want you to look at houses, we would go and look at them. Now, as I said, it's tons of pre-qualified questions. If you're not approved financially, I am not showing you this home. And for me to make sure that they're approved, they're going through my process first. So they're going through you, and you will tell me, Gemma, this is how much they're approved for. So then on offer night, I know exactly where we're at. And if the home is $800,000 and they cannot spend more than $700,000, I know we're not going in. There's no reason for them to go in, for me to go in as well. Everybody's going to get frustrated, waste their time. There is no reason, right? So when I bring in an offer as a buyer agent, I make sure that my buyers are highly qualified and sure to run this multiple offer, because I know the multiple offer is going to end up $50,000, $75,000, sometimes even more over asking. So if my buyer is not qualified for over that, then I am not even going in. And I have this it's a tough conversation to have with them, because I'm crushing in a way, I'm crushing their dreams. But it's also my job as an advisor, because being a realtor is not just opening the door and show them the home, right? Yeah. My job is to guide them, help them understand the market, and really, at the end of the day, negotiate the best offer for them. In a seller's market, negotiating the best offer for them is hard, because we know already the seller can get their closing date, their no conditions, because we're seeing this right now, no conditions, full offer, direct deal where we're going to go for more. But I want to have an understanding with my buyers where they are like, okay, what is your max? Because at your max, this is now my job to stop you, right? Because if you can't spend more, this is my job now to stop you. Now, as a seller agent, when I receive offers, I want to make sure that those buyer agents are doing the same due diligence that I am. So I ask them, do you have the mortgage lender letter that says that they are pre-approved? Are you sure they can go for that amount? Are you sure the closing date is? So it's way more conversation, relationship hasn't, like, it has been so important to build this relationship with the other buyer agent. And any buyer agent who's not giving me this relationship, unfortunately, they're losing on my deal, because I don't want, the next thing that I don't want is a buyer to purchase my seller's property, and then 3 months from now we're not closing because they were not qualified correctly, and they told me they could, and they just went over asking, overbidding, and now they cannot chew it, right? Because in 2017, I don't know if you remember, but in 2017, when everything turned down, all those deals that were written and yet did not close, now everybody's getting sued. There is problems everywhere. So we want to make sure that we're not going to do this again, and we want to make sure that we really pre-qualified our buyers. But me as a seller agent, as selling my client's property, is now more important to me that I pre-qualified the buyer agent and their client, right? So before, the way that we did it with an offer was everybody comes to the house, you, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you present your house with your realtor, you wait in the car, and then we'll call your name. Now what we're doing is we actually can do the same process online with Zoom meeting. And when I have sellers who can see who we're dealing with, who the agent is on the other side of the table, and if my sellers have questions for them on Zoom meeting, they can ask them. That is huge. You see now deals that are falling apart because this buyer agent doesn't show on my Zoom meeting, and therefore is not able to tell me about his buyers. So therefore my sellers are not comfortable to sell to those people.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't see them. So making sure that you're on top of the technology as a buyer agent or seller agent is also huge.
Yeah, and I've sat across from people multiple times, right? And you can get a feel, or sometimes if you're faced with equivalent offers, you have to sort of pick maybe who you like a bit more, and that could have an effect on who you decide to sell your house to. And from a buyer's perspective, you better sell your story.
Absolutely.
And if all offers are the same, or perhaps, I think people forget that. When you're looking at offers, even if one's a slightly higher price, like you said, if it doesn't close, it doesn't matter what you got initially, you better get something that you're pretty sure that they're going to close. So if they're just saying, we're coming in no conditions, but they can't prove that they've got funding or funds or down payment, or something doesn't smell right, you're going to want to question that and poke and make sure that you're qualifying those people. And it's really cool that you can do that through Zoom now, and it's less commuting. I remember doing so many of these in snowstorms, right? And people are driving, it's late at night, it's dark, it's snowstorm, I just feel so bad for
That's
people.
right.
So
You can stay in the living room but still achieve the same goal, right?
Yeah.
And to me, for my sellers, I would much rather them take $5,000, $10,000 less, but be sure to close. Yep. Rather than go 20 over, and then in 3 months from now we're not closing, so therefore they cannot close on the house they purchased. Yep. And now everybody is in bad situation, because that's a ripple effect, right?
Big time.
Everybody could be in a bad situation, and as a buyer or seller agent, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah, that would not create a smooth process. I always say, even the smoothest home sale and purchase is still, it still comes with pressure, and there, even a moving, right? There's never 100% on anything. So there's always just a little bit of tension, even the perfect one. And you know, but you can, it's great that you get to use Zoom and things like that. So even you can see that in the real estate industry where we're able to adapt to these new technologies. And if they're qualified, they can then go in and see. But it's nice that you say, look at the photos, look at the video, go do a virtual tour. And that would be comforting for me as a seller, knowing that everybody that's come to my house is coming in, that they're qualified and that they're actually have a legitimate interest, and they're not just coming to just sort of look around and be like, okay, you know, they're not using it as a comparison basis. They're using it as I'm a serious buyer, and that would be pretty neat. Um, I'm guessing everything else with the process is pretty much the same. You're doing more electronic signatures, I would guess.
Yes, so we're trying to limit, obviously, the amount of time that we're meeting face to face with people, obviously, because we want to keep everybody secure. So there's DocuSign, there's Zoom meetings, like we can really just talk like this. We're not together, but we're still together.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I love seeing documents that have been initialed, scratched out, changed through DocuSign, because it used to get so ugly, and the copies and the scans, and like you can't, they're just not legible sometimes when you're going back
That's
and
right.
forth, right? It's like it's so much clearer. I'm like, I could read this, and it's so
That's right.
great. So there is a benefit, right? The what about regionally? I know you've done some further south in Ontario, like Toronto area. You work a lot out of Newmarket, some north of Newmarket. Are you seeing anything sort of regionally?
So regionally, what I see is a lot of people from Toronto who are living in a condo wanting to stop living in this condo because they have enough of those four walls where they don't have a garden, they don't have nowhere to go, they have children, and they really are trapped in there. At first, it was supposed to be for 2 weeks,
It's
and
a long
almost a
two
year
weeks.
later, we're still in there, right? So we saw a lot of condos going onto the market in the summer until December, even still now. And unfortunately, prices of condos have gone down. So my advice would be anybody who is actually in York region and wants to downsize is to buy a condo over there, because you have lots of inventory. And now is the time to capitalize on your home and still get a great investment in Toronto, because in Toronto, it's going to go back up. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of time,
I
right?
feel
As
that
soon
way
as they
too.
open the immigration again and everything again, that's going to go back up. So if you can capitalize on your home and downsize and go to Toronto, I say do it. It's a great move in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion and only opinion. But we see a lot of people from Toronto who finally think that, you know what, I'm going to sell my place, my either condo or house for this much amount of money. But then this is going to get me so much more in York region, Simcoe region, or other regions of the GTA. So they're like, you know what? I realize now that I can work from home and I can have a bigger backyard and a better lifestyle and be with a lesser mortgage free, or depending on their situation, right?
Yeah, or even if they're just spending up a bit, well, you know, if you're getting a lateral move financially or just slightly spending up, you know, if they've got kids or they're planning for kids, they've got a lot more that they can get in terms of house. Um, and you know, so it's almost like there's an age rotation, right? Where there's
Yes.
perhaps an older crowd looking to downsize a bit with a younger crowd looking to get a bigger house, and they're sort of geographically switching. But I agree with you. At some point, it's so easy to look at today in lockdown, but we know vaccines are coming across. We know the goal of everybody is to try and open back up, get back to some sort of normality, whatever that looks like in the future. But Toronto will not be dead forever. We will have a music concert at some point. I strongly believe. If it never happened again, I would be shocked. So I'm pretty
Absolutely.
comfortable saying it will happen again. You
Absolutely.
know, you're going to want to go out, have a night out, those type of things, the shows. I know I'd love to go see Cirque du Soleil personally. I think that'd be a
Yeah.
really great one, right? Um,
But every time that I have a client, buyer or seller,
mhm,
one of the first question that I ask is, what is your 5-year plan?
yeah.
What is your 10-year plan?
Hmm.
Based on that, I know what we're looking at,
Yeah.
right? because then I have a good understanding of where they want to go. If they don't know where they want to go in 5 years or 10 years, then there are follow-up questions that I ask to see what we're doing. Because if somebody's telling me, oh, I want to move in a year or two, then that buying process or selling process is going to be completely different from somebody who's telling me I'm buying my forever home.
Right, right. Yeah, I've worked with both crowds right now, but there are a lot of people looking for their forever home, whether they're going to move to the cottage or, you know, looking to raise a family, or maybe it's to enjoy retirement and an easier lifestyle without having to shovel the snow and cut grass and, you know, take care of all the things that happen in a house. And, you know, so different demographics want different things. So I always find that really cool. Um, yeah, it's been great. So that was pretty much it for the geographic side. And when you're selling houses, did want to ask you one thing. If I was looking at painting my house and for me to live in it for a bit, but thinking I was going to sell in a couple of years, would you go stronger colors or neutrals, or would you just do whatever you want and then repaint it before you sell it? Like, do you have an opinion on that?
Well, again, it's all about time.
Okay.
When are you selling your house? Are you selling your house in 6 months, in 2 years, in 5 years? My response will be different from 6 months to year, 5 years. In 6 months from now, go neutral. You can't go wrong. Gray, beige, neutral. Light color, because it needs to appeal to the most amount of people. Okay. 2 years, well, if you want to please yourself and, you know, maybe one or two rooms differently, so then you can repaint those one or two rooms before you move, go for it. In 5 years, 10 years, go wild, do whatever you want, and then we're talking 5 or 10 years, because 5 or 10 years, I don't know, maybe purple will be in style, you know.
Go
You
for
never
it.
know, right? Like, you never know what is going to be in style. The answer is short term. Go with neutral right now because this is the trend right now.
Okay.
But again, in 10 years from now, maybe wallpaper will be back in style, right? So
I hope not,
we don't
because
know.
I hate putting it up. I hate taking it down. So I hope not.
Yes. So
But
that's the answer for that.
okay, cool. Yeah, I had to throw in a style question. I'm definitely not the person to ask on style, so I figured I'd ask you. So well, I know we've been going at this for about half an hour, and we've had a bunch of people come on, come off, and if there's anybody has any final questions or comments, feel free to type it in the comment section. But what I'm gathering is the process itself, selling your house is still selling your house. There are added protections and processes in place.
Yes.
The buyers out there are serious. We have people who are well qualified when they're coming in for buyers, as buyers. The house preparation still has to get done just like everything else. An
Yes.
importance, it was important before for marketing and photos and videos and maybe a virtual tour. That was important before, but it sounds like that has become even more important and centerpiece to the selling process.
That's right, because a lot of people are saying, oh, you just put a sign on the lawn and then put it on the MLS and it'll sell by itself.
Sure.
But however, the answer to that is yes, it will sell. However, how much more do you want? Would you like $10,000 more? Or would you like $75,000 more? You tell me. Because if you want $75,000 more, this is how we're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And people really have this in their mind where it's like, oh, it's a hot market, seller market. Yes, but it's still a market where if it's marketed correctly and according to the market, you will net more money at the end. And the same is true for the person you hire. You hire your best friend's son because he's just started in real estate, or you hire a high negotiator is not going to give you the same result,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. I have to say I agree, right? Because anybody can stick a sign. That's why there's like
Absolutely.
no commission, flat rate. You can do
Yeah,
those things. Stick a house on, they'll list it, no problem. But when
of
it comes to
course.
the negotiating process, there
That's
is
right.
significant ability
Significant.
to drive up values for people. And if you're on the buyer side, drive down. And I've seen you do it
Down.
for both. I've seen you drive up prices for sellers. I've
You
seen you drive
have,
down
yes.
prices for
Yes,
buyers,
you have seen
right?
me do
And
that. Yes.
it is tens of thousands of dollars, right? So sticking a sign on a lawn, yeah, anybody can do that, right? You
That's so
can,
true.
but and I know many people that will attest that it is significant. Like that's what I think people, nobody wants to pay for a lawyer until you're getting sued. They're like, well, had you seen us in the beginning, you wouldn't have had to spend tens of thousands or
That's
hundreds of
correct.
thousands of dollars, right? With a realtor, when you get into the negotiating, you may be leaving significant value on the table if you don't have a seasoned, or it doesn't have to be seasoned. You can have a really good negotiator who's a realtor on your side. And there are some fantastic realtors who are starting, and those people deserve their start and everything too.
Absolutely.
But when you have that, there is significant value in someone who brings that experience and ability to deliver on that. So
Absolutely. And what I say to my sellers or the buyers, I say, listen, the person who is not able to negotiate their own commission,
mhm.
do you really think that they're going to negotiate to your best interest at the end on the offer night for the deal? Because when I go to negotiate, I don't negotiate my commission. My commission is not up for negotiation, but I know I will net you way more money at the end of the day. And that little amount of commission, that's difference between me and another agent, what do you want? Would you like $50,000 more in your pocket, or would you like to pay less commission? You
Yeah.
tell me. If
Yeah.
you want to pay less commission, I'm not the right agent for you.
Well, I'd rather have you on my side than against me. So I'll tell you that much, right? Because
I
if you
remember you saying a few times, Gemma, how did you do this? I remember you saying this a few times, yes.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's you can have someone like this on you while you're going through the process, and if someone else picks them to help them through it, then they're gonna negotiate against you. So you better have someone strong that's there for you.
That's right, that's right.
So, but yeah, like it's a busy. I know we talk about this in a very calm manner, but emotions run high in the process,
Very.
and that's one of the things, right? So as all this sort of chaos is happening, it's the calm, focused person that's able to deliver and negotiate, right? You're trying to deliver for somebody, and there's a skill set and there's a passion, and those things have to get dealt with. And it's afterwards when you take a step back, you're like, wow, that was worth a full 2.5%. Like
Thank you.
that's the difference, right? Or a lot of people will include, like you said, staging, for example, right? That is little details. That is, like when you go to a Porsche, are they going to negotiate on their price down to the price of a Ford? No. Is Ford going to take offense that Porsche charges more? No.
That's right.
Porsche going to get upset? No. But they're different vehicles for good reason,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Like,
And this is what I say to clients sometimes also is if you go to a doctor that is going to operate on your heart, he's going to operate on your heart and open your body and operate on your heart. Who do you want by your side? Do you want somebody who knows what they're doing? Or do you want somebody who you're going to pay less but have no idea what they're doing?
hey, and let's be real, I cut my food every day at dinner, right? It's the same thing. It's a cutting device, right? There's a difference
Yeah,
between, and if that's what you want, then that's fine. But when you want
absolutely. There's
someone a
nothing
little
wrong
more,
with it.
right?
But
Like,
if somebody tells me, listen, I would like $50,000 more, $75,000 more, I would like to pay less, and this, I will negotiate for you like my life depends on it. You know what
yep.
I mean? Like my life depends on it. Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy with my services, you're not going to refer me to anybody. My business is going to die with you.
Yeah.
And that's not what I want. I want you to go on and talk about me to everybody you know, because I want to make sure that my business flourish with you. And I'm not here for the short run. I'm here for your life. I'm your
Yeah.
realtor for life. I will help you, and I'll help your children and your grandchildren if I'm still around.
Right? Like I think that's so important too, right? Like so having someone fight for you in this process, because it is a tight market right now. Is there when it is a tight market like this, so it's a seller's market, is it situation dependent whether they sell first or buy first, or how do you negotiate that? How do you handle this? You're in a house and you're looking to sell, you're looking to move. How do you handle, am I going to find a place? Do I sell first? Not sure on the price that I'm going to get? Like, how do you deal with that?
So once again, it's really not one answer for all. It's really tailored to what they want. If they tell me that they want to move into a different province or something, it's a very different process, obviously. Right now, if they say to me, Gemma, we want to upsize, we're a new market, we're selling a new market, we want to upsize in new market, my answer today in today's market would be, okay, let's find something first, negotiate something first, hoping for a little bit longer closing date, 3 months or not too much more, but 3 months should be fine. And then let's have your house ready. As soon as we have an accepted offer, your house is going on the market the next day and we sell it fast, right? And with my marketing strategy and my advertising, your house will sell. I have not even a question about that, right? So it really depends on what we're doing here. Now, if you're telling me, Gemma, I want to sell first and then go and move downtown Toronto to buy a condo, the inventory is huge over there. So the answer would be sell first, let's see how much we get, and then let's see how much that gets us over there, right? Again, not every answer is for everybody, so it's very tailored to the person who I'm talking with.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so there's, like you say, when you're getting to know them in the beginning, talking about, what are your plans, what are you aiming to do, where you're currently at, what are you trying to achieve, those things are going to be really important. And then that'll allow you to set a strategy in place and a plan, and then you just execute. Because like you say, if your offer gets accepted, the next day your house is going on the market, you know that they better be ready. So
that's right, exactly. That's exactly what I did actually 3 months ago for one of my clients who moved up here, and she had a home to sell in Toronto. So what we did is we were looking for a home for sure, but meanwhile we're preparing her house. As soon as we had an accepted offer and was firm, her house went on the market within days and it was sold like this.
that's amazing. Like, yeah, it's amazing the speed. I think that's what's still mind-boggling, because I remember the housing market sort of end of February last year, and it was no different than this. And I remember as soon as COVID came, I think I saw you list and sell 6 houses in the first couple of weeks of COVID. And I'm like, how is this happening? Like, it's hot. And you wouldn't have thought that, with a global pandemic just rushing through, that the market was going to remain high, and it did. And you were very active in that time frame, very, very active. Obviously, still very active today. And so it's such a neat thing, because I know your fingers on the pulse, right? You see, you feel, you know what's going on. When you're seeing these deals on a regular basis, you'll see trends that are changing, and it's amazing. And I think having that, I really think having that plan, getting prepared, having strategy with different options, that seems really, really important to me. So.
Always, and that I think is the reason of my success today, is always keep in mind what's the best interest for my clients. If the best interest for my clients is to buy a property, for example, we had this client together where I helped her find a house, and at the end it turned out to be a private deal because it was the best house for her. I still helped her, I still guided her, I was in the background. I didn't get paid on it, I didn't get anything from it, but I know that tomorrow if this person needs anything, or if she meets somebody, she will refer me, because I gave it with my heart, and the result was for her to be doing this private deal with another person, and I help her towards that. So really, when you keep in mind the client's goals and best interest, this is when I know that I can sleep at night, and I know that I can help my clients the best.
That to me is one of the most rewarding things that I got. The reason that I got into financial services, and the reason that I'm still in financial services, is because of that feeling when I know I've helped them. And like you said, you don't even get paid, but you've helped them through it. It was very positive outcome. You played an integral role, and they've expressed that they're very happy with you. And obviously you don't want to spend time doing something you're not getting paid for, but it was well worth it. And that is, that to me is everything, and obviously that to you is everything too. And it's
Yes.
so, we're helping people, right? At the end of the day.
That's right. And that's
Um,
why you and
yeah.
I have such a great relationship is because you have the same mindset as I do.
Yeah, it's a fun, it makes it fun, right? It takes it from
Yes.
being busy and stressful to fun and energizing. So that's something I've always really enjoyed about this business and working with you on things and houses and transactions, and it's been a lot of fun. So but I just want to say thank you so much for being on here. I know we've been on it for
Thank you.
almost 45 minutes. We talked about so much on the selling process, especially during COVID, how it happens. I really appreciate you sharing this with everybody. It's been fantastic.
Anytime. Thank you for having me, Trevor.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gemma. Well, have a great night, and thank you to everybody that's joined. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your evening with us. So,
Thank you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me anytime.
and what's your handle, just in case the people aren't seeing it? It can just your handle at on Instagram.
My Instagram is Gemma Leggett Realty, I believe. I don't recall well, but you can call me. You can find me everywhere if you just Google my name, Gemma Leggett, GEMMALEGGETT, and then you can find me anywhere. My phone number is 416-824-7475.
That's perfect. Yeah, awesome. And yeah, I know as soon as you type in Gemma Leggett and realtor, you'll pop right up all over the place. So
You will, you
you'll
will, you will find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, I'll be there.
yeah, everywhere. So that's oh, there we go. Hey, thank you so much, Nicole. She said if you need references, absolutely, she's happy to help you there. So it's fantastic. Thank you for that. But
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. All right, everybody. Well, thank you again, and I wish everybody a great night, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you,
Have a good
Trevor.
one.
Have a great
You too. Bye.
day. Bye.